Hello children, in the yesterday's class we have discussed about balancing a chemical equation. Now in this class we will discuss about how to make a chemical equation more informative. Let us say you have this equation, iron oxide plus aluminium is giving rise to iron plus aluminium oxide, that is aluminium trioxide. Now you can mention the physical state of this by mentioning in the bracket as S here. S indicates that this is a solid. You have four different states: this solid, liquid, gas and aqueous. If the substance is solid, you can write S in the bracket and place it below the element like this. S indicates solid, L indicates liquid, G indicates gas, AQ indicates aqueous solution. AQ indicates that the material is in water or it is dissolved in water. So AQ stands for aqueous. So you can make your chemical equation more informative by adding all these physical states. Next, you can also mention the heat changes, like in case of C plus O2 gives rise to CO2 along with some heat. This kind of reaction is called exothermic reaction. And whenever N2 is reacting with O2, heat is absorbed, then it is called endothermic reaction. If it is endothermic reaction, you have to write minus Q. If it is exothermic reaction, you have to write plus Q. Here this delta indicates that we have supplied some heat. This is formed after supplying some heat. Then, if you observe the third equation, here whenever zinc is reacting with sulfuric acid, you are getting zinc sulfate plus hydrogen gas. Gases can be indicated with an arrow pointing upward. Okay, observe the next equation, AgNO3, silver nitrate plus sodium chloride. It is giving rise to silver chloride plus sodium nitrate. This silver chloride is a precipitate form. Precipitate is a solid substance that is formed and it settles at the bottom. Here AgCl is that solid and it is forming as a precipitate. So you can indicate it with an arrow pointing downwards. Gas is represented by arrow pointing upwards, whereas precipitate is indicated by an arrow pointing downward like this. Then you have, suppose if you are providing any other conditions, like you are providing sunlight or you are taking any new material, or if you are adding any catalyst, you are providing any temperature or pressure, that can be indicated above or below the arrow mark like this. So in this reaction, AgCl, to split into Ag and Cl2, we are providing sunlight. So this can be represented on the arrow mark upward, and if you are providing any other conditions, you can represent it up above the arrow or below the arrow like this. Okay, this is how we make the chemical equation more informative. Our next concept is interpreting a balanced chemical equation. What all you get from a balanced chemical equation? First thing is, you will know let us take this equation. What all you can understand from a balanced chemical equation. First thing is, you will know the formulas of the chemical compounds. Then next is, you will know what are the reactants and what are the products formed. Next you will know the ratio of atoms or molecules that are combining on the LHS as well as RHS. Next is, you will know number of atoms on reactant side and product side. Next you can even find the mass of it and express it in U. You can also find the molar mass. Molar means 1 mole, that is 6.023 into 10 to the power of 23. This is 1 mole. And this is called Avogadro number. You can even find the molar mass. Then Our next concept is, you can even find molar mass, okay, and you can calculate the number of atoms or molecules present by using Avogadro number. You can even find out what is the volume of gas for a given, that is formed for a given mass of substance. All this you can interpret from a balanced chemical equation. Now let us discuss a numerical based on this. Aluminium plus Fe2O3 gives rise to Al2O3 plus Fe. Solid, 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 solid. First of all, we'll balance this equation. 2Al plus Fe2O3 gives rise to Al2O3 plus 2Fe. This is a balanced chemical equation. You are given an unbalanced chemical equation, we are balancing it. Then suppose that you are asked to calculate amount of aluminium required to get 1120 kgs, that is 1120 kgs of iron by above reaction. Okay. Here you are given an equation like this. First of all, we are balancing the equation. Next, suppose I want 1120 kgs of iron. Here you are getting iron here. I want 1120 kgs of iron. For that, how much aluminium is required? That is what we are supposed to find. So before going to this, let us write down the masses of it. Aluminium mass is 27U. Iron mass is 56U. Oxygen mass is 16U. Atomic mass is 16U. Okay, now let us calculate. Here 2 into Al, so 2 into 27 plus Fe2 is given, that is 56 into 2 plus 16 into 3, giving rise to Al2. 27 into 2 plus 16 into 3 plus 2Fe, that is 2 into 56U. So let us calculate. 2 into 27 gives 54U plus 56 into 2, 112 plus 48, 112 plus 48, and this is 54 plus 48, and this is 112U. 54U plus 112 plus 48. 112 plus 48 is nothing but 160 U, and this is 54 plus 48, 98 plus 4, 102 U plus 112 U. So here how many moles of aluminium exist? 2 moles. 2 moles of aluminium is reacting with 1 mole of iron oxide to give 1 mole of aluminium trioxide and 2 moles of iron. Now let us convert this into grams. If you are taking mole number of these atoms, you have to write U, you have to write G in U place. That is, if you are taking mole number of atoms, then you get 54 grams plus 160 grams giving rise to 102 grams plus 112 grams. So here for 54 grams of aluminium you are getting 112 grams of iron. For 54 grams of aluminium you are getting 112 grams of iron. Now you want what is the amount of aluminium required for 1120 kgs, that is 1120 into 1000 grams. Okay, let us cross multiply. 54 into 1120 into 1000 equal to 112 into x. X is equal to 54 into 1120 into 1000 by 112. 112 gets cancelled. You have 540 into 1000. So x is equal to 540 kgs. So you have to take 540 kgs of aluminium in order to get 1120 kgs of iron. Okay, that is about the problem, children. Hope you understood this problem. We will continue in the next class.